There's something mysterious about those silent hours before dawn. Between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the world is quiet. The air feels different. The noise of the day hasn't started yet. The phones are still, the streets are empty, and even your thoughts seem lighter. It's a space where time slows down, and in that stillness, something sacred stirs. If you've ever found yourself waking up in those hours, don't dismiss it as random. It might be life's way, God's way of whispering, "Wake up, I'm trying to show you something." Most people sleep through the most powerful hours of the day. But the ones who rise, who answer that early call, understand that these moments can shift everything. There's a reason ancient wisdom calls this time Brahma Muhurta, the Creator's hour. Monks, mystics, and prophets have spoken about it for centuries. It's when heaven seems closest, when the noise of the world fades, and the soul can finally breathe. If you use these hours right, you won't just change your morning. You'll change your entire destiny. So what do you do when you wake up between 3 and 5? You listen. You don't rush for your phone. You don't toss and turn, fighting the call. You sit up, breathe deeply, and realize this is not a coincidence. You are awake for a reason. In those few hours, something deep inside you is asking for attention. Your soul is asking to be heard. Start by grounding yourself in stillness. Sit on your bed, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the air filling your lungs. For a moment, realize that being awake at this hour means you have been given another chance to create, to become, to align. The rest of the world is sleeping, but you, yes, you have been invited to the quiet space where change begins. This is the time to connect with God, with your purpose, with your inner voice that's been drowned out by noise all day long. If your mind feels restless, let it. That's the chatter leaving your system. That's your soul stretching after being asleep for too long. Whisper gratitude, because gratitude changes everything. Thank God for the chance to wake up. Thank Him for the life that still flows through your veins, for the people who love you, for the battles you've survived, and even for the ones you're still fighting. When you start your day with gratitude in the dark hours, you're telling the universe you're ready for light. Then, pray not the rushed kind of prayer, but the one that comes from the depths of your being. Speak to God like you would to a friend. Don't recite words, release them. Tell Him what you feel, what you fear, what you desire. Ask for strength, for clarity, for wisdom. Ask Him to make you sensitive to His whispers throughout the day. These are the moments when divine direction comes quietly, like a soft breeze. You just have to be still enough to feel it. Once your heart is open, listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit. Ideas might come to you, insights, solutions you've been struggling to find. Write them down. That's the voice of your higher self speaking, the version of you that already knows where you're meant to go. Between 3 and 5 a.m., your subconscious mind is wide open, your spirit is alert, and your connection to divine energy is strongest. Don't waste that channel. Tune in. Next, feed your mind. Read something uplifting. A passage of scripture, a few lines of a powerful book, or words that remind you of your purpose. The mind, especially in these early hours, absorbs whatever you give it like fertile soil. If you plant inspiration, gratitude, and wisdom now, your day will grow from it. But if you plant fear or distraction, that too will shape your day. Choose carefully what you feed your spirit before the world wakes up. After you've connected spiritually and mentally, move your body, stretch, breathe deeply. Go for a short walk if you can, or simply move your arms and legs in rhythm with your breath. This isn't just exercise, it's energy activation. Your body holds emotion, memory, and potential. Moving early in the morning wakes up every cell in your being and tells your mind, I'm ready to create today. Now, visualize. Close your eyes again and picture the life you desire. Not as a distant dream, but as if it's already happening. See yourself walking confidently, speaking with clarity, living with purpose, surrounded by peace and abundance. Feel it, believe it. This is where manifestation truly begins, not in wishing, but in seeing and feeling as if it already exists. When your mind and emotions align, the universe starts rearranging itself to match your inner picture. The people who master their mornings master their lives, because the morning isn't just the start of the day. It's the foundation of everything that follows. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you win enough days, you win your destiny. That's why those who wake up early are not just awake. They're alive. Think about it. The most successful leaders, thinkers, and spiritual teachers have all had one thing in common. They valued the morning. They understood that discipline before dawn builds strength before success. The stillness of 3 to 5 a.m. isn't just physical, it's spiritual. It's a sacred classroom where your future self is waiting to meet you, but let's be honest, it's not always easy. Waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. can feel impossible. The bed is warm, the body is tired, the mind says, sleep a little longer. That's the voice of comfort trying to keep you average. Greatness never grows in comfort. Every person who has risen above mediocrity has had to fight that voice. The battle for your destiny begins the moment the alarm goes off, or when your spirit wakes you up without one. You don't have to leap out of bed and run a marathon. You just have to respond. Sit up, breathe, whisper gratitude. That simple act says, I'm awake, I'm ready, I'm listening. Do that consistently, and your life will begin to shift in ways you can't explain, but can absolutely feel. The truth is, every time you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., your spirit is trying to tell you something. Maybe you're being called to let go of something heavy, a fear, a regret, a habit. Maybe you're being reminded of something you've been ignoring. Your dream, your calling, your purpose. Or maybe it's God nudging you to intercede for someone, to pray for someone in pain, to release light into the world while others sleep. Whatever it is, don't ignore the call. These hours are not a coincidence. They are a conversation. When you learn to use these hours, you'll notice something strange. Your anxiety fades, your clarity deepens, and your energy feels different. You begin to sense direction, even when you don't have all the answers. That's what divine alignment feels like. You stop chasing things and start attracting them. You stop panicking about time and start flowing with it. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, thank you. And it's not just spiritual, it's practical too. Science supports it. Waking up early aligns with your body's natural rhythm. The hormones that build focus, creativity, and energy, like cortisol and serotonin, are at their peak in these early hours. Your mind is most alert. Your imagination is sharpest. That's why the best ideas come at dawn. The world hasn't distracted you yet. You are at your most powerful, so if you want to change your life, start here. Don't wait for the perfect day or the perfect plan. Just begin, wake up, use those hours wisely, Reflect, pray, plan, and act. If you've been feeling lost, use that time to find yourself. If you've been anxious, use it to breathe and release. If you've been stuck, use it to move. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. One of the greatest tragedies of modern life is how we've lost touch with silence. We wake up scrolling, reacting, rushing. But those who wake up between 3 and 5 are given a gift. Time before time. It's your sacred space to set your intention, to become deliberate about your thoughts and energy before the world demands them. The more you master this, the more peace and power you'll carry through the rest of your day. You'll notice people will ask you, "What changed? You seem different." You'll smile because you'll know. It's not what changed, it's when you changed. You started showing up for yourself in the dark, and now the light follows you. You stopped waiting for motivation and started becoming it. You stopped reacting to life and started creating it. Every morning between 3 and 5, heaven opens a window. Not everyone walks through it, but those who do find wisdom others miss. They hear ideas that others never receive. They feel peace that others keep searching for, because they learned that the morning doesn't just belong to the sun. It belongs to the soul. So, if you wake up in those hours, do these things. Be still. Be grateful. Be prayerful. Be intentional. Move your body. Feed your mind. Visualize your best self. And most of all, listen. Because in that silence, your future is whispering your name. Maybe you've been through pain, disappointment, or uncertainty. Maybe life has knocked you down more than once. But what if I told you that between 3 and 5 a.m. every single day, there is a door waiting for you to open? A door to renewal, clarity, and strength. When you step through it, you're not just starting your morning. You're starting your transformation. Greatness doesn't wake up at noon. Peace doesn't wait until the noise stops. Purpose doesn't chase comfort. The ones who rise early rise differently. They understand that the quiet hours are where warriors are trained, where visionaries are guided, where destinies are written. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. So tomorrow, when you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., don't roll over. Rise up. Stand tall in the stillness. Feel the pulse of life inside you. Whisper gratitude. Talk to God. Move your body, set your vision, and watch what happens. Watch how your days begin to shift, how your energy changes, how your life starts to align with something greater. You'll realize that the morning isn't just a time. It's a message. You are being called higher, because every sunrise is a reminder that darkness never wins. And if you can wake up when the world sleeps, if you can learn to find light in the quiet, you can do anything. You can rebuild, you can create, you can overcome, you can become. So wake up, not just from your sleep, but from your doubt, your fear, your limitation. Wake up to the power inside you. Wake up to your purpose. Wake up to the divine rhythm of your own becoming. Between 3 and 5 a.m., the universe isn't silent. It's speaking. The question is, will you listen? Waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. isn't an accident. It's a divine invitation, a sacred call from the universe or God himself, urging you to rise above the noise, above distraction, and come face to face with your true purpose. You see, most people sleep through this call. They roll over, thinking it's just a random moment of restlessness. But those who are spiritually awake understand that this hour is not ordinary. It's holy. It's as if heaven itself gently knocks on your heart and says, "Child, I'm ready to speak to you. Are you ready to listen?" Think about it. The world is still. The air feels different. And there's a deep calmness that you can almost feel pressing against your soul. That calm is not empty. It's full of divine energy, full of guidance waiting to pour into you. When you wake up in these early hours, it's not because your body has failed to rest, it's because your spirit is restless, yearning for something more. It's a spiritual alarm clock, one that can't be set by human hands. It's God's way of saying, I have something to show you, something I can't reveal in the noise of the day. Between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., your mind is quiet, your surroundings are silent, and your heart is open. This is when you are most sensitive to divine whispers, the kind of guidance that doesn't shout but softly directs. In these hours, distractions disappear, ego fades, and the deepest truths about who you are and what you're meant to do begin to surface. This is not the time to scroll through your phone or to worry about yesterday's problems. This is the time to listen. When you wake up at this hour, the invitation is simple yet profound. Come closer. Come closer to God. Come closer to yourself. Come closer to understanding what you've been missing. You may not realize it, but something within you is being stirred. A calling, a reminder, a quiet urging to live intentionally again. Maybe you've been feeling disconnected, anxious, or lost. Maybe you've been questioning your path. That's exactly why you're being awakened now. Because God wants your undivided attention. When everything else is silent, your heart finally has space to hear what it's been missing. The universe, in its perfect rhythm, has aligned this time for you to reset, to release the heaviness of your past, and prepare for the greatness of your future. Between 3 and 5 a.m., the veil between heaven and earth feels thinner, not in some mystical superstition, but in a deeply spiritual truth. The atmosphere itself feels charged with divine energy. The ancients knew it. The prophets lived it. The wise still practice it. They understood that these early hours are not about sleep. They're about awakening. And make no mistake, this invitation isn't random, it's intentional. When God wakes you up at 3 a.m., it's because He trusts you with silence. He trusts you to handle solitude, to step into sacred stillness and not run from it. Because in that stillness, He shapes you. He softens your heart. He restores your strength. He reminds you of what matters. When you feel that nudge to wake up, don't see it as a disruption to your rest. See it as a summons to your purpose. This is the hour where miracles are conceived, not in noise, not in chaos, but in quiet surrender. This is where clarity begins. When you sit in that darkness with nothing but your breath and your thoughts, you start to see the difference between what's temporary and what's eternal. You begin to remember who you are. The world during the day will try to make you forget. It will distract you with comparison, pressure, and busyness. But in the early morning, God strips all of that away and whispers, "This is you. This is who I made you to be." So when you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., don't reach for your phone, reach for your soul. Don't complain that you can't sleep, thank God that you're awake. Because in that awakening, something powerful is happening. You're being refined, you're being realigned, you're being called higher. These hours are not about doing more. They're about becoming more. They're about shifting your energy from chaos to peace, from confusion to clarity, from drifting to direction. The truth is, your destiny can't be built on noise. It's built in silence. And silence is exactly what 3 to 5 a.m. offers you. The stillness of this time is not emptiness. It's divine fullness waiting for you to enter. So, when you wake up in those hours, understand, you are not being disturbed, You are being summoned. Summoned to reflection, to prayer, to purpose. Summoned to remember that your life is not random, that your pain is not pointless, that your calling is not gone. You've been chosen to rise while others rest, not to boast, not to brag, but to become. The way you use these sacred hours determines whether your life drifts aimlessly or transforms into something extraordinary. These few quiet moments before dawn hold more power than most people realize. Every choice you make between 3 and 5 a.m., every thought you allow, every word you speak, every action you take, has the potential to shape the course of your entire day and ultimately your entire life. You see, destiny isn't built in the spotlight. It's shaped in the shadows when no one is watching. And these hours, this sacred space between night and morning, are the workshop of your future. Most people waste these hours without knowing their worth. They roll over, silencing the alarm of their own awakening, saying, "Just 5 more minutes." But those 5 minutes can be the difference between drifting and direction, between regret and purpose. The person who understands the power of these hours understands that life rewards the intentional, not the accidental. If you use this time to reconnect with your spirit, to plan, to pray, to align, you step into your day carrying peace, purpose, and power that others spend all day trying to find. Think about it. When you start your day with stillness and clarity, you don't react. You create. You don't chase. You attract. You don't stumble through your hours, you direct them. The energy you build before sunrise becomes the foundation of everything that follows. These early moments are like wet cement. Whatever you impress upon them sets the shape of your day. Fill them with anxiety, and your day will feel scattered. Fill them with gratitude and intention, and your day will flow with grace. It's in these hours that your mind is most fertile, your spirit most sensitive, and your focus most alive. Your thoughts carry more weight because they're pure. They haven't been polluted yet by notifications, responsibilities, or distractions. That's why what you do right after you wake up matters so deeply. If you waste these sacred moments, you waste your alignment. But if you nurture them, your entire day begins to work in your favor. Life starts responding differently because you've begun to operate from a higher vibration, a clearer consciousness, a more grounded peace. This time between 3 and 5 a.m. is the hour of creation, reflection, and revelation. It's where you decide whether you'll let life push you around or whether you'll step forward with divine purpose. It's where you stop living by default and start living by design. If you spend this time scrolling, complaining, or worrying, your mind becomes cluttered before the day even begins. But if you spend it in prayer, gratitude, silence, or planning, your soul becomes still, and that stillness becomes strength. You carry it with you into the noise of the day, and people can feel it on you. There's a calm in your presence, a clarity in your eyes, a confidence that doesn't need to shout. When you use these hours wisely, you begin to experience what others call favor or luck. But it's not luck, it's alignment. You've aligned your mind, body, and spirit before the rest of the world even wakes up. You've built momentum in silence. You've prepared your heart before the battles of the day even begin. That's why ancient leaders, warriors, and thinkers would rise before the sun. They knew that discipline before dawn creates freedom during the day. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And leadership begins in these quiet hours when you decide who you want to be before the world tells you who you are. The truth is, life is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. Every day you are given a window of grace, a divine pause before the noise begins. How you use that window determines everything. Do you surrender it to sleep, or do you invest it in your soul? Do you fill it with doubt, or do you fill it with faith? The choice is always yours, and the consequences are always real. Because these sacred hours are not just about time, they're about transformation. When you rise early, you rise into a different version of yourself. The version that is focused, grateful, and unshakably calm. You begin to notice how your thoughts shape your actions, and how your actions shape your outcomes. You start realizing that success isn't about doing more. It's about being more present, more aware, more disciplined, more aligned. The quiet hours give you space to become that person, to think clearly, to set intentions that matter. And once you experience what it feels like to use these hours well, to meditate, pray, plan, move, breathe, you'll never want to go back, because you'll realize that the power to change your life was never out there. It was always in here, within these moments, within you. You'll start to see how small, consistent actions like waking early, expressing gratitude, and feeding your mind with truth begin to rewire everything. You'll find yourself calmer in traffic, kinder in conflict, sharper in decisions, and stronger in storms. That's not coincidence. That's the result of using sacred hours wisely. So yes, the way you use these hours determines everything. Because when you rise with purpose, you train your mind to lead instead of follow. When you wake with gratitude, you invite abundance. When you begin your day with prayer, you attract peace. And when you start your morning in silence, you discover strength that doesn't come from caffeine or motivation. It comes from divine connection. You can drift through life, reacting to everything, or you can rise and respond to life from a place of power. The difference lies in what you do before the world wakes. Between 3 and 5 a.m., you are handed the keys to your transformation. What you do with them is up to you. Use them to build discipline, to deepen faith, to discover purpose. And your life will expand in ways that seem almost miraculous. Waste them, and you'll keep feeling like something's missing because it is. You are missing from your own mornings. Silence, gratitude, prayer, and vision, setting in these early hours, awaken the deepest parts of your soul, shaping your destiny with divine clarity and unstoppable focus. These are not just morning rituals, they are sacred keys that unlock the hidden chambers of your potential. The world teaches you to chase, to hustle, to run faster, but the universe God Himself teaches something deeper. True power comes from stillness, awareness, and intention. And nowhere is that truth more alive than in the hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. When you enter silence at that hour, you enter the heart of creation. The noise of the world fades, and suddenly, you can hear what has always been speaking to you, the voice of your soul, the whisper of divine direction, the language of peace. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. It's where ideas are born, where burdens are lifted, where wisdom is downloaded straight from heaven into your spirit. Most people fear silence because it reveals what they've been avoiding. But those who learn to embrace it find treasures others never will. In that silence, your inner world becomes clear, your confusion settles, your priorities reorder themselves. You realize what truly matters and what never did. Gratitude then becomes the doorway through which light floods your heart. When you start your morning by saying thank you, you realign your energy with abundance. Gratitude doesn't just change your mood, it changes your frequency. It transforms scarcity into sufficiency, worry into peace, frustration into joy. The moment you begin to count your blessings, you stop being blind to the miracles already happening around you. You begin to see your life not as something missing, but as something full, overflowing with grace, opportunity, and purpose. Every thank you whisper in the dark builds spiritual momentum for the day. Gratitude is the language of faith. It says, I trust that what I have is enough and what's coming is greater. Then comes prayer, the conversation that bridges earth and heaven. Prayer is not a religious routine. It's a spiritual realignment. It's your chance to lay your burdens down and receive direction, peace, and power from the source of all life. When you pray in these early hours, your heart is open, your mind is clear, and your spirit is receptive. It's not about perfect words, it's about an honest connection. Tell God everything, your fears, your hopes, your struggles, your dreams. He already knows, but he wants you to invite him in. Prayer in the early hours is different. It's raw, pure, unfiltered. It's where you stop performing and start communing. In that quiet dialogue, something sacred happens. Your will begins to align with his. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, use me. After prayer comes vision, setting, the art of seeing your life through the eyes of faith, not fear. This is where you take the whispers from your heart and give them shape. You imagine your best self, the focused, disciplined, peaceful, purpose-driven version of you, and you begin to feel what it would be like to live that reality. Vision is the language of the spirit. It's the movie your soul plays before the world catches up. When you visualize who you want to become, where you want to go, and how you want to impact others, you start training your subconscious mind to create it. The brain doesn't distinguish between what's imagined and what's real. It simply follows what it's repeatedly shown. So, when you set a vision in the quiet of dawn, you are writing the blueprint of your future. Together, silence, gratitude, prayer, and vision setting form a divine rhythm, a sacred morning symphony that awakens your higher self. Silence clears your mind, gratitude softens your heart, prayer connects your spirit, vision ignites your purpose. And when all four flow together, something powerful happens. You begin to live not from pressure, but from purpose. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. The noise of the world no longer controls your emotions because you've already grounded yourself in truth before the world even begins to speak. Imagine starting every day this way. Instead of rushing, you rise. Instead of scrolling, you sit in silence. Instead of worrying, you worship. Instead of doubting, you visualize. That shift alone could transform your entire existence. You would no longer be at the mercy of circumstances. You would become a creator of them. You'd notice that your decisions become wiser, your relationships more peaceful, your goals more achievable, and your energy unshakable. Why? Because you've built your day on spiritual stability. The greatest mistake most people make is believing that transformation comes from doing more. But transformation comes from becoming still enough to hear what you must do next. Those who master the morning master their destiny. The quiet hour before sunrise is when your soul speaks most clearly, when God's guidance feels nearest, when your potential feels possible. Every morning, you engage with silence, gratitude, prayer, and vision. You're not just preparing for the day, you're preparing for the life you were meant to live. Over time, these practices don't just shape your mornings, they rewire your entire being. You'll begin to walk through your days with divine clarity, unshakable peace, and unstoppable focus. Distractions that once drained you will lose their power. Fear will fade into faith. Confusion will turn into certainty. You'll start noticing synchronicities, divine alignments, open doors, unexpected blessings. And you'll realize they're not coincidences. They're confirmations. Confirmations that your inner world and outer world have finally come into harmony. This is what happens when you honor the sacred hours. Your soul wakes up. Your mind clears. Your body aligns. And your destiny begins to move. You realize that success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. The early hours aren't just a time, they are an atmosphere, a sanctuary for transformation. When you choose silence over noise, gratitude over complaint, prayer over panic, and vision over distraction, you don't just start your morning right, you start your life right.